You know the reason why they eventually said the M doesn't stand for Melee in Project M, right?
Copyright?
No, because what happened was they made the game like Melee, but then they wanted to do more. They wanted every character to have a chance. They wanted to make every character unique and different and have their own different kind of play style. And Melee community was like, no, you can't do that. That's not Melee. And they said, you know what? It isn't Melee. We don't want it to become Melee. It was just inspired by the Melee gameplay. And that's when a lot of people left PM because they were upset that it wasn't Melee anymore. But that wasn't the original intention. They just wanted to make a game that plays like Melee. And that's exactly what we got. I think the diehard Melee community is kind of toxic, and they kind of take the fun out of a lot of things. They don't understand what fun is. It has to just be Melee. I feel like if a Melee HD came out and they fixed or addressed anything that didn't make it Melee anymore, it'd be like, oh yeah, it's dead to us.
I never really think there's going to be a true Melee HD.
Oh, by Nintendo? Definitely not.
Even by other developers, by third party. Because it'll just be Project M 3.0.
Yeah, Project M was the closest we'll ever get to Melee HD. So if people weren't happy with that, then they'll never be happy with anything. Just old-fashioned and unable to adapt to the modern needs of a competitive game. Melee will eventually die due to the fact that it's not accessible. Like, that's a fact. It will happen. It's getting harder and harder for people to get into the game because the amount of learning that they have to go through to even play at top levels, the amount of experience they have to endure, it's too much. It's too demanding. Competitive games like League and shit, some Asian kid that you've never heard of 3 months ago can suddenly become a top player because of a new update. Because a new character was buffed or something was changed about the game, and it's constantly changing.
I think out of all the Smash games, the most accessible is probably Smash 4, and then after that it's Melee, and then after that is probably Brawl, and then PM. And the only reason why I say that is because for PM you have to do extra shit. Actually, I changed my mind. I think Brawl is more accessible than Melee, but a lot more people play Melee than Brawl, so...
PM is very accessible. What is not accessible about it?
People don't know how to get PM started. It's not like an average competitive gamer can just buy PM. They have to fucking learn how to do everything.
No. Well, okay, in that sense, of like being able to plug in and play, yeah, but from the sense of being able to learn tech skill, PM is way more accessible. Also, Sonic Mania's music is in this too. I don't know if you just heard that for a split second.
Isn't PM like the same mechanics as fucking Melee though? So
yeah, but it's more forgiving. There's more frames. I can L cancel consistently with every character because it doesn't lock me out of it. You saw me. I was trying to wave dash with Luigi for an entire stock while you fucking bodied me. I couldn't even wave dash with the character because I think
it's more like you're used to PM than Melee is worse. Like
no. If you look at the frame data, you get about 3 times the amount of frames that you get in PM than you would in Melee. It's bigger windows. It's more open. It's easier. It's like Rivals. Anyone can wave dash in Rivals because you get like a fucking second and a half of time to input the button and it'll let you do it. And the same with like PM. It's just accessible. That's what I mean by accessible. It's accessible for people to play at more technical levels without having to do a bunch of learning and tech skill practice. I mean, you still have to practice, it's just not as strict. PM was designed for people to get into the Melee gameplay without having to work as hard. It's accessible.
Fuck, I meant to jump!
Melee will always be more successful than PM because it's an official game and Nintendo can kind of get behind it, even though low-key they don't like it. But I mean, that's with anything. Any old game Nintendo's not going to like. If Double Dash suddenly had a scene, Nintendo would hate it. Because they want you to play 8. But anyways, besides that, Melee will always succeed because it has Nintendo support and it won't be shut down by Nintendo. PM will never because, well, I don't want to say never, but for the most part, it won't because Nintendo is always going to try to actively hunt it down.
What the fuck? That killed me so early.
It's a needed. Would a need kill you at that percent?
No, I'd be able to DI that shit.
Really? Well, you're just jealous that Ness is a Okay.
Well, I'm a noob at it.
Also, the one thing I like about PM is you can never bitch about the tiers. So, like in Melee, you know, someone's playing a low tier, it's like, bitch, you're using Fox. It's like, you can't say that in this game. Like, you can't. Like, I can't bitch about anything, any character that you're playing, besides Jigglypuff, because that's just cancer. But besides that, Like, you can't bitch because everybody's pretty much on the same level. Like, every character is good.